It's normal for your age, the doctor said, not even looking up from his clipboard. Men your age experience these changes. Less energy, lower libido. It's just part of getting older. He sits in his car after the appointment, hands gripping the steering wheel. 67 years old and sentenced to feeling half dead for the rest of his life. Because that's just normal. But what if normal isn't natural? What if what they call aging is actually starving? How many men are walking around feeling empty, exhausted, disconnected from their own bodies, accepting it as inevitable? How many have been told their symptoms are just part of getting older when the real problem is simpler than anyone imagined? I'm about to tell you about 3 men who were told the exact same thing. It's your age. It's normal. Learn to live with it. Until they discovered that what they thought was aging was actually something their bodies had been crying out for every single morning. Not a pill, not a treatment, not a therapy. Something so basic, so fundamental that their great-grandfathers never would have thought to question it. Something that's been missing from breakfast tables across America for the last 50 years. The first man's discovery will make you question everything you think you know about morning nutrition. The second will shock you with how simple the solution really is. But the third man's story, that's the one that will make you angry. Angry at how long you've been told to accept feeling half alive when the answer was hiding in plain sight. Before we dive in, let me ask you something simple, friend. Where are you watching this from? Drop it in the comments below. We may be miles apart, but this journey of reclaiming ourselves, of waking up again, it's one we walk together. You're not alone. You're still here. Let me tell you about William and the breakfast revelation that gave him his life back. The man who accepted the sentence. William, 71, sat across from his doctor for his annual checkup, the same conversation they'd had for 3 years running. "I'm tired all the time," he said. "I have no energy, no drive. I feel like I'm running on empty." "You're 71, William," the doctor replied. "This is what 71 feels like. We can run some tests, but honestly, what you're describing is perfectly normal for a man your age." William drove home in silence, his wife Margaret watching him retreat further into himself with each passing mile. They'd been married 48 years. She'd watched him build houses, raise children, survive cancer, overcome business failures. But this quiet surrender to feeling lifeless, this was different. "Normal," William repeated that night at dinner, pushing food around his plate. "The doctor says feeling dead inside is normal." Margaret had watched William's breakfast routine for the past 5 years. Black coffee, dry toast, maybe a banana if she reminded him. The breakfast of a man who'd given up on feeling good. "I don't even taste food anymore," William told her. "Everything's the same, grey, flat, like someone turned off the volume on my whole life." Margaret remembered the William who used to wake up hungry, who used to talk over breakfast, who used to reach across the table and squeeze her hand while planning their day. That man had been replaced by someone who ate because he had to, not because he wanted to. That's when Margaret's daughter, a registered dietitian, came for Sunday dinner and noticed something that would change everything. She watched her father eat his usual Sunday breakfast, the same colorless, joyless meal he'd been eating for years, and asked a simple question. "Dad, when's the last time you ate anything orange or yellow at breakfast?" William looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Color," his daughter said. "Real color, orange, yellow, red. When's the last time your breakfast had any actual color in it?" William couldn't remember. His breakfast had been beige for years. Beige toast, black coffee, white plates. The breakfast palate of a man who'd forgotten that food was supposed to be alive. His daughter reached into Margaret's refrigerator, and pulled out something William hadn't eaten in decades. Sweet potato, a medium sweet potato, deep orange and firm in her hands. "This one food," she said, slicing the sweet potato into thick rounds, "contains more beta-carotene than your body has seen in months. Beta-carotene converts to vitamin A, and vitamin A is what your body uses to make testosterone." William had never heard this. 50 years of doctor visits, and no one had ever mentioned that the color of his food might affect how he felt in his body. His daughter cooked the sweet potato rounds slowly until they were golden and caramelized around the edges. The smell filled the kitchen, earthy, sweet, alive. "Try this," she said, placing a fork in his hand. "Really taste it, don't just eat it, taste it." William took a bite and felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Flavor. Not just sweetness, but complexity. Earth and sugar, and something that made his mouth water for more. "I can taste it," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I can actually taste it." After 1 week of eating roasted sweet potato with his breakfast, William noticed something impossible. He woke up feeling awake. Not energized exactly, but present. Like his body remembered it had work to do. After 2 weeks, Margaret noticed something she hadn't seen in years. William started talking over breakfast, not about the weather or the news, but about plans, things he wanted to do, places he wanted to go. After a month, William looked in the bathroom mirror one morning and saw something that shocked him. Color in his cheeks. Not much, but enough to remind him that blood was actually flowing through his skin. "It wasn't just the sweet potato," William told me later. "It was remembering that my body deserved to be fed, not just fueled. That I deserved to eat food that was alive, not just convenient." After 3 months, William went back to his doctor for a follow-up. His testosterone levels had increased by 30%. His energy markers were the best they'd been in 5 years. His doctor was amazed. "What have you been doing differently?" the doctor asked. "Eating breakfast," William replied. "Actually eating breakfast. But nutrition is just the foundation." The second man's story is about something even simpler. Something that will make you question why no one ever told you this before. The discovery that changed everything. Frank, 68, had been taking the same medications for 8 years. Blood pressure, cholesterol, acid reflux. Each pill solving one problem while creating another. His medicine cabinet looked like a pharmacy, but he felt worse every year. "I take 12 pills every morning," he told his wife Rose. 12 pills just to feel normal, and I still don't feel normal. I feel like a chemistry experiment." Rose watched Frank's morning routine with growing concern. Pill after pill, washed down with water. No real food until noon. Just medications and black coffee until his stomach could handle something solid. "I'm not hungry in the morning," Frank would say. "These pills kill my appetite. I don't want anything until lunch." Rose had tried everything. Smoothies, protein bars, light snacks. Nothing worked. Frank would take his pills on an empty stomach and spend the morning feeling nauseated, tired, and disconnected from his own body. That's when Rose's sister, a pharmacist, mentioned something that no doctor had ever told them. "Most medications absorb better with food," she said. "But more importantly, your body can't make the hormones it needs without the right building blocks. And morning is when most hormone production happens." Avocado, the fruit that looks like a brain and feeds like one, rich in healthy fats, potassium, and something called glutathione, the master antioxidant that your liver uses to process toxins, including medication toxins. Rose started making Frank the same breakfast every morning. Half an avocado, mashed with a fork, spread on whole grain toast with a pinch of sea salt. Simple, natural, real. "I want you to eat this before you take your pills," she told him. "Give your body something real to work with." Frank was skeptical, but Rose had been right about everything for 44 years of marriage. He ate the avocado toast, then took his medications with a full stomach for the first time in almost a decade. After 1 week, Frank noticed something remarkable. The nausea was gone. The morning fatigue that usually lasted until noon had disappeared. His stomach felt settled, comfortable. After 2 weeks, something even more surprising happened. Frank woke up feeling hungry. Actually hungry, not just for food, but for the day ahead. After a month, Frank's doctor was confused by his blood work. "Your cholesterol is better," the doctor said. "Your blood pressure is more stable, and your liver function is actually improved. What have you changed?" "I started eating breakfast," Frank replied. "Real breakfast, before my pills." The doctor had never heard of using food to improve medication absorption. But Frank's numbers didn't lie. His body was processing everything more efficiently because he'd given it the tools it needed to do the job. After 3 months, Frank experienced something he thought was impossible. His doctor reduced 2 of his medications. His body was working so well that he needed less pharmaceutical support, not more. "The avocado didn't just feed my body," Frank told me. "It taught my body how to use what I was giving it, how to process the medications without being poisoned by them, how to function instead of just survive." But even optimal absorption isn't enough if your body has forgotten how to make the hormones that make you feel like a man. The third man story, that's the one that will make you angry at how simple the solution really is. The truth that will make you furious. Harold, 63, had been following his doctor's breakfast advice for 6 years. Whole grain cereal with skim milk, low fat, low cholesterol, heart healthy. The breakfast that was supposed to keep him alive longer, but was making him feel less alive every day. "I do everything they tell me to do," Harold told his wife Janet. "I eat what they say to eat. I take what they say to take, but I feel like I'm disappearing, like there's less of me every month." Janet watched Harold eat his prescribed breakfast every morning, the same colorless, fatless, joyless meal that his cardiologist had recommended after his heart scare 5 years earlier. "I don't feel like a man anymore," Harold said one morning, staring at his bowl of soggy cereal. "I don't feel like anything, I'm just existing." Janet had watched Harold's transformation over the years, not just his body, which had become softer and weaker despite his healthy diet, but his spirit, his drive, his presence. The man who used to fill a room had become someone you could easily overlook. That's when Janet's brother, a bodybuilder in his 50s, visited for Harold's birthday and made an observation that would change everything. "Harold," he said, watching his brother-in-law push cereal around his bowl. "When's the last time you ate fat, real fat?" Harold looked confused. "The doctor said no fat. Bad for my heart." "That's the problem," Janet's brother said. "Your body can't make testosterone without cholesterol, and cholesterol comes from fat. You've been starving your hormone production for 6 years. Are you ready for this? The thing Harold had been missing, walnuts, raw walnuts, the food that looks like a brain and feeds your body the fat it needs to make the hormones that make you feel like yourself." Janet's brother explained something that no cardiologist had ever mentioned. Your brain is 60% fat. Your hormones are made from fat. Your cell membranes are made from fat. You've been trying to run a machine without the oil it needs to function. Harold started eating a handful of raw walnuts every morning, just 5 or 6 nuts, before his cereal, before his heart medication, before anything else entered his body. After 1 week, Harold noticed something subtle but profound. His morning brain fog lifted earlier. The mental cloudiness that usually lasted until mid-morning began clearing by 8 a.m. After 2 weeks, Janet noticed something she hadn't seen in years. Harold started standing differently, straighter, more solid, like he was actually inhabiting his body instead of just carrying it around. After a month, Harold felt something he thought was gone forever. Not just energy, but drive. The kind of internal motor that makes you want to do things, not just go through the motions. After 6 weeks, Harold experienced something that shocked them both. He woke up with morning arousal for the first time in 3 years. His body was making enough testosterone to function like a man's body again. "I'm back," he told Janet one morning. "I don't know how else to explain it, but I'm back." After 3 months, Harold's cardiologist was amazed by his blood work. His cholesterol ratios had actually improved. His HDL, the good cholesterol, was higher than it had been in years. "How is this possible?" the doctor asked. "Your numbers are better, but you're eating fat." "I'm eating what my body needs to function," Harold replied, "not what it needs to just survive." The doctor had never seen anything like it. A patient improving his heart health by eating the foods he'd been told to avoid. But Harold's body didn't lie. It was working better because it was finally being fed properly. "Sometimes," Harold told me later, "the cure for feeling old isn't accepting that you're old. It's feeding the body you still have instead of mourning the body you used to have." 3 men, 3 simple foods, 3 discoveries that their doctors never mentioned. Sweet potatoes for hormone production, avocados for medication absorption, walnuts for testosterone synthesis. None of it complicated, all of it hidden in plain sight. "Your numbers look excellent, William," the doctor says, reviewing his latest blood work. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." William smiles, thinking about his breakfast that morning. Sweet potato hash, avocado toast, a handful of walnuts. Real food, colorful food. Food that remembers it's supposed to nourish, not just fill. "It wasn't my age," he says to himself, starting the car. "It was just my breakfast." Sometimes the most powerful medicine comes from the most obvious places. Sometimes what we call aging is just malnutrition wearing a medical degree. Sometimes the cure for feeling half dead is remembering how to be fully fed. What will you add to your breakfast tomorrow morning? Will you roast sweet potato rounds until they're golden? Will you mash half an avocado on real bread? Will you crack open some walnuts and taste the oil your body has been craving? If someone came to mind while watching this, someone who's been told their symptoms are normal for their age, send this to them. Sometimes we need to be reminded that what's common isn't necessarily natural, that what we accept as inevitable might just be preventable. You're still here, and you're not done.